So as many of you guys know, since I got the 2023 limited blackout package Grand Cherokee, many of you have shown a lot of interest in it. So I figured today, why not show you the absolute best model you can possibly get. Today, I'm going to walk you guys through and show you around the 4xe Summit Reserve Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, there are a lot of crazy features on this machine that a lot of you probably don't even know exist yet, and Jeep has really pulled out all the stops on this to really give you anything that's available in the market and even a little bit more. Now, obviously for the exterior, it hasn't changed all that much from the one you guys are used to seeing on my channel. Of course, it does have the two-tone paint, so it's going to be blacked out on the top. We've got different wheels, different suspension, a few extra things in terms of just the chrome accents on the front instead of the black, but really a lot of the difference comes from the inside. So let's go ahead and start there. Now, before we start going crazy, I wanted to show you guys the window sticker on this machine. That way you can see all the options that are listed. Now, this is a 2022 leftover, a Grand Cherokee Summit Reserve 4xe. You'll notice it's not the Grand Cherokee L, so it's the exact same size and dimensions as the one I actually own. But you can see the base price of $72 and the total price, the way this one is equipped, at $81,805. Now, something that's crazy to see on a Jeep window sticker in general is going to be the 56 mpge. Now, that is combined fuel economy using the electric, the hybrid system, of course, with the gasoline, and then 23 miles a gallon standard. Now, this does have the 2.0 liter turbocharged motor that many of us have come to know, and it's got that awesome 8-speed transmission. You can see the coverage there for the actual hybrid system. You can see all of it's covered for about 8 years, 100,000 miles, which is really nice. So it gives you a little bit of peace of mind for buying something that's kind of new, like the 4xe models. So just diving into the interior, you guys can tell it's quite a bit different than what you're used to seeing in mine. Of course, just to start, it does have the tan interior with the diamond stitching on the bolsters. Then also it lets you know that it's a Summit right there on the side, which is really nice. And then you do have your real wood trim right here, which actually has a really good feel to it, much like you'd feel in a higher model Ram. Then you've also got all your controls right here, the basic normal stuff we're all used to, memory seats, and even massaging seats right there, which is an awesome feature I tried out on the way here. Now, since this is the 4xe model, you've got some extra options right here that you don't usually have. Of course, you can use it in hybrid. You can go to the electric mode, and you can go to e-save mode, which is pretty cool. The hybrid system is pretty much what I've driven it in right now. I've driven a Wrangler in the full electric mode, which you only get around 30 miles of range in pure electric. So that's something you could use in just driving through town, through the city, something like that. But more times than not, you're going to be in that hybrid mode right there. And then just moving on to the rest of the interior, it is a similar layout from what we're used to. So of course we've got that huge LCD display right there, but it's got quite a few features. We'll go over that in a second. Got the same 10.1 inch screen that we have in the other. And then you've also got the passenger screen in this one, which is really cool, and I'm excited to show you guys through it. Now, up top, you've got all of your controls. This, I believe, is for regenerative braking, which is extremely aggressive in this. You've also got your lane departure, traction control, park sensors, auto park, and then you've also got your passenger screen power button, so you can turn it on that way. Now, you'll see the 10.1 like I mentioned, but right below it, we've got all of our controls for climate. Of course, you've got heated, cooled seats, all your standard controls we've become accustomed to. You've also got the wireless charging pad right there. Now, whenever you're looking at this steering wheel, it's an extremely similar design as what we're used to. Of course, you've still got your paddle shifters up here, but you've also got a couple extra features. So this is basically their smart cruise, to where you can basically take your hands off the wheel. I'm sure it's not recommended, but you can. So it's going to keep you in the lanes, even with slight curves. You've also got your adaptive cruise control right there. Then going right down below, you're going to see a little bit different setup. So this does have the air ride suspension. And not only that, it actually has a true transfer case to where it lets you go into neutral. So you are able to flat tow this, and you've got the 4-wheel low selection there. Now for the modes, it's the same modes we have, but it's also got rock. So the rock does change things up, and with that 2-speed transfer case, it gives you quite a bit more options for off-road. With the air ride, of course, you can control it all right here. Now, depending on what mode you're in right here, it will change the air ride automatically, and then of course you can change it on the fly right here. Whenever you get up to highway speeds, it's going to be in normal mode, and whenever you go into sport, it's actually going to lower it to be a little bit more aerodynamic. And I think it goes without mentioning, of course, we've got the panoramic sunroof right here, which is absolutely awesome. And then, of course, all your standard controls for that, as well as the vents right up top, the same place we've all become accustomed to. Now, whenever you're looking up here, you're going to notice something a little bit different. The material on the headliner is actually suede. So like we've seen with a lot of luxury brands here recently, even in things like the Kia Telluride SX Prestige, these suede headliners are coming back and they are really cool. Of course, it's soft touch. I don't know how hard it is to keep clean, but it looks good. Then, not only that, we've also got the upgraded sound system. So, you can see right there, we've got the Macintosh sound system, and it has got a lot of speakers. It's got a subwoofer in the back, and it sounds great. Now, of course, I'm sure you guys have seen some pretty cool features to do with these Grand Cherokees. Something that's really nice and awesome to see is whenever you go to the navigation mode, it's actually going to throw out the actual road, so it tells you exactly where you're at, even if you don't have a destination plugged in, and you can still see your speed. Obviously, this one actually has heads-up display. I hope you can see it there. It's always hard to see on camera, but it will tell you the speed as well as the speed limit and what road you're on. So it's very convenient, and you can change the configuration on that heads-up display to show you quite a few different things. The navigation screen on this is really nice. Of course, you still have navigation right there on the screen. Click that and it'll tell you exactly where you're at. But to have it right in front of you is just awesome. Another really cool feature, and probably my favorite feature on this entire machine, is night vision. So, of course, during the day, you don't really need it. And at night, you don't really need it. But it is so cool to see. You'll see right there, it looks like something straight out of a video game. And it's so clear, you can honestly even tell what kind of car is coming up in front of you from probably 50 yards away, which is really cool. It's very clear, and to be able to do this in the middle of the day, whenever it's the brightest as it's going to get, it's pretty impressive. Now, moving on to the back, as you can see, I've already got all my junk back here, but you do have your climate controls back here, as well as heated and cooled seats in the back. You've also got your standard house outlet, and then your USB micro and standard USBs, and your little air vents there. Now, with this from the back, you still have the same amount of room as what we have in mine, but that interior just looks absolutely awesome. I'm never a huge fan of tan, but I think whenever it's put together right on the right vehicle, it's the best option. Now, for the passenger screen, it is hard to pick it up on camera, but it's extremely clear here in person. Of course, you've got controls for audio, video, HDMI, that way if you have something plugged in. You've also got controls for navigation. You can control the devices and even the cameras, which is really cool. You can see the front camera, the back camera. You can clean the camera, which is really neat. Then you've also got the surround view, which is extremely convenient if you are trying to spot somebody while they're parking. Of course, they can have it pulled up on their display there, but you've got it right here, which is really neat. And just to be able to have all the control right here for the passenger, that way the driver doesn't have to worry about any of it, it's pretty awesome. And I'm glad Jeep's finally thrown something like this in one of their vehicles. You can also control your wireless headphones and then your actual brightness right here for this display, which is a cool feature. Let me know what you guys actually think about that. Another interior feature in the back that a lot of the parents might like, and I would actually like to have on mine, is the sunshade. Of course, you can just pull it up, then you can drop it back down. But with that sunshade, it gives you the option of really keeping the sun out of your kids' eyes. And if any of you have babies, you know just how annoying that can be. Just to start with the exterior, you're gonna see that it's extremely similar to a lot of the other Grand Cherokee models we've come to know, but there are a few different key elements that really make it what it is. Now, you can tell up front, it does have the chrome overlays for the grille, and it looks really good, a little bit higher class model. You can also see the LED daytime running lights. They're in the same position, they look the same. They do the same thing, but they work really well. Moving on to the side here, you're going to see the different wheels that actually come on the Summit Reserve. These wheels are actually 21 inches, which is something a little bit different for Jeep, but it definitely looks good. You can also tell we've got the Continental tires, and they are all-terrain. These are 275/45 R21s, so it's got plenty of traction on the road, and I think it would do decent off-road as well. Another weird feature is going to be the 4xe fuel door. So even though it's not a fuel door, it still kind of is. You open it up, this is a plug-in hybrid, so you plug it in, charge it up, and you're good to go for about 30 miles of full electric. Then we've got our two-tone paint. For the Summit Reserve, it is two-tone, and it really pulls it all together really well. You can see your bottom trim right there is all going to be gloss black. Then your top piece of the trim is going to be silver, but it's not necessarily chrome, so it doesn't blind you with being chrome. It's the exact same color as your actual roof rails. Moving to the back, you can tell those taillights look absolutely amazing, and you do have the black piece actually connecting the two taillights for the Summit Reserve. And then you've actually got exhaust outlets through the bumper. So with the bumper on these, you can tell it's got cutouts for the exhaust, and of course it is a dual exhaust for that 2.0 liter turbo. The tips don't come out all the way, but you can see the exhaust basically just dumps right there where that's cut out of the bumper. And of course, we've still got those aggressive body lines for this new Jeep model, which just look amazing. So obviously, after looking over the exterior here and seeing all the features on the inside, you can tell this is an extreme premium luxury unit, something that I'm really not used to seeing from Jeep. Now, obviously, the Grand Wagoneer has a lot of these same options too, but to be able to get it in the mid-sized SUV class is pretty awesome. I think this is a great competitor for a lot of the higher end import models that a lot of us just associate with the luxury class in general, but Jeep has really thrown out something that's pretty impressive with this Summit Reserve. Now that we've seen most of the features, you guys have had a fair chance to see the exterior styling. Let's take it down the road and see how it actually drives with all these features working together. Now we're going to take off here, and it is in the electric mode right now, so let's see just how quiet it is. Now keep in mind it has 0 range on that electric system. I'm still excited to see if whenever we first pull out, if it uses any of the gas motor or not. So let's put it into drive. No change yet. I'm going to let my foot off the brake. Still in electric for now. Now like I said, it has 0 range, so I didn't think that would happen. And I'll let you hear it. So at a certain speed, the actual motor should kick on, and it is so cool to see that night vision right there. Now the truck looks lifted from that, but you can tell it's just a little Nissan Frontier. Actually, I guess it does have at least a little lift on it, maybe a body lift or something. Now as we continue just at slower speeds, it really gives us a fair chance to see how that air suspension holds up. The air suspension at slower speeds, at least in my opinion, felt a little bit better than my standard suspension. But over bigger bumps, they felt about the same. I'm not exactly sure, but right now we've actually got it in standard ride height, and you can hear that motor actually clicking on. And with night vision, you can see just how well you can actually see people right in front of you, which is pretty neat. And of course, like I said, it's the middle of the day, so I'm not sure how this system likes to work, but it's cool to see all that. Now you can definitely tell a difference whenever that 2.0 liter turbo kicks in, but it's not drastic. Oh, there's another person. But it is cool to be able to see everything and the way that it's working together. I would like to test out that night vision at night and see how much cooler it looks, because just seeing it at night would be so awesome. Now, I've never been a massive fan of the 2.0 liter turbo from Jeep. Even whenever it first came out, it was more described as a Fiat motor, and it gets a lot of flack for that. Now, they did have some issues whenever they first came out, just like any other motor that any manufacturer's released, but it seems like they've pretty much got it dialed in at this point. Now, the power with the 4xe, I forgot to look it up, but it's not anything crazy. I do believe it's supposed to be more than the 3.6 liter. Now, the torque is also supposed to be a little bit more. From my honest opinion, just driving it and using my butt dyno, it doesn't feel like it has any more power. If anything, maybe a little bit less. Now, I'm not a big fan of purely electric, but hybrid I think is a very viable source for a lot of these automakers, because you get the benefits of both. You still have the capabilities of getting fuel anywhere and filling up in an instant, but you've also got a lot of the capabilities of an EV for your daily commute if you're just driving through town or through the city, which is really nice. I did forget to mention, of course, we have the wireless Android Auto Apple CarPlay capabilities in this, just like in every other Grand Cherokee with that 10.1-inch screen, so it's really nice and extremely convenient to use. And not an aggressive acceleration, but just a little bit. You can hear that turbo spooling up just a little, nothing too crazy, but the 2.0 liter seems to handle its own, even with the weight of the Grand Cherokee, so I'm honestly kind of impressed with how it's doing. I'm also going to show you this. Now, I've already said the regenerative braking is extremely aggressive, and we do have it turned on, but I'm just going to release my foot off the gas and not even touch the brake and show you guys just what I'm talking about. No brake applied at all. And that's that regenerative braking kicking in. So I would assume with it being that aggressive, maybe it actually does give you a little bit of a recharge. I don't know, but it may help at least maintain that battery. And the on-road drivability of any of these Grand Cherokees is always awesome, and it's really nice to just drive one of these, no matter which one it is. I love the new body style, and I think that they've really pulled everything together really well. Now, just being able to throw all of the features at you like they have in the Summer Reserve is absolutely amazing. But it doesn't come for free. You definitely have to pay a pretty high price to get one of these. But if you're willing and able, I don't know if there's many better options on the entire market. Yeah, that air ride suspension does feel pretty darn good. Like I said, I've just got it in standard ride height. I believe it'll do a variation of somewhere around 6 inches. So 3 inches up, 3 inches down. It's about the standard for Mopar if they have air ride. Now, in normal traffic, this thing feels just like a normal Grand Cherokee. I would really like to test out the full electric mode. Let's see if we can actually do that, even though it says 0 range. Nope. Electric mode temporarily unavailable, battery too low. So that is what you're going to run into if it is not charged up. Now with these, they have a couple different options for charging. You can get the actual house charger, which is extremely powerful. I'm not exactly sure of the wattage or the power, but you do have a standard house outlet charger as well. I believe in the past, whenever I sold a Pacifica hybrid, I did have to plug it up pretty much all night and a little bit of the day to get a 100% charge, even though it was just a small amount of range. Similar setup as to this. I believe it's actually one of the first models they did in real hybrid form from Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, but the charge time is going to take a little while, but still, yeah, it's just cool to have that capability. Another thing I honestly just can't get over is how cool it is to press that button right there and your massaging seats turn on while you're driving, which is just so cool. It's awesome to have that feature in an SUV. I've never owned one with the massaging feature. I've sold quite a few with it, but it is nice. And a huge thank you to Beaman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram here in Murfreesboro to let me spend some time with the all-new Grand Cherokee Summit Reserve. If you guys are interested in it and you're looking for a great deal, they're actually selling it for $4,000 off since it's a 2022. So whenever you get here, just ask for John, say that you saw it on YouTube from Godspeed ZRZ, and they will take care of you. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. But until next time, Godspeed.